What's up, you beautiful collectors? This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the folks at CapturePrey.com, we're going to be taking a look at the new Fans Hobby MB-01 ARCHENEMY, which is their version of a masterpiece scale, either RID Scourge or Nemesis Prime, whatever you want to think of them as. For the package, you got a really cool image of him in both his robot as well as his vehicle mode. You got all the different labels and things. The side here has that image of that truck mode. This side here has his robot form. On the bottom, it just has his face. On the top, it has his face. And then on the back of the box, you got a couple different poses for him. You got him kind of standing there with his sword. You kind of have him standing there with his sword hanging off of his back. And then images of his vehicle mode as well as the front and back of him. And I like how all rights are reserved. Like, really? You're gonna copyright something like? All right, whatever. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have ARCHENEMY opened up and out of its packaging. And whether you want to call him RID Scourge or Nemesis Prime, ARCHENEMY here is a chunky mass of pure evil. This guy is terrific. Obviously, you get a lot of those looks that the RID Scourge had. You got this long nose sort of big rig truck. Great detail on this, though. You got some nice chrome here in the hubcaps, nice silver paint throughout the entire thing. You got the exhaust pipes here, which have really nice chrome. You got this very gorgeous kind of teal color going throughout the whole thing, but you can see it through the top, up here on the cab section, kind of goes down here on the wheel well. Throughout the entire thing, great detail. I love the red translucent windows here, just absolutely wicked looking. You got some nice red paint. For the headlights, again, really nice silver detail here with the grille and the bumper. Nice accent lights up here. Overall, I mean, just absolutely terrific looking and heavy. There is die cast in this, so it gives it a very big sense of weight. But one thing that really did surprise me is just how big this is when compared to the masterpiece Optimus Prime. I mean, it's huge. So definitely a little, I guess, out of scale with masterpiece figures, but I still love the sheer presence of it. But I mean, this guy really is gargantuan by comparison. Now, flat nose trucks are usually a little bit smaller than the long nose ones, but I mean, this is just an absolute massive sort of difference. I mean, even when you take a look at the back section here, I mean, huge difference here. Now, some people would be a little bit disappointed that as RID Scourge, he doesn't come with the tanker section. That really could make this a lot bigger. But he does come with a very nice evil sword. I mean, again, I love the color choices. It just matches with what they're trying to do here so very nicely. You got a solid black handle and hilt, and then the blade is this very nice red translucent, very nicely sculpted plastic here. I really dig this. Now, I can't for the life of me find any place to store this. The instructions don't really indicate a place to store it. Normally, you know, something like this you'd be able to put like between the legs or peg somewhere here, but there really isn't a place that I can find to do that. So it is a little bit unfortunate that you can't really store his sword in his vehicle mode, but it's not too bad. Now, I was hearing one other thing one thing that I was hearing was bringing out Optimus again. People were complaining about this and how these just kind of hang out here. Well, duh. I mean, it's just reversed. It's upside down. I mean, it's basically the same thing. So I don't understand why anybody would really have a complaint about this, because unless you complained about those little things, that shouldn't bother you. So I don't know. For me, it doesn't bother me at all. I think that the overall presence and look of this, although I do have this detached right there. Now, transformation is actually really very simple. And if you have transformed pretty much any version of Scourge, you're going to have a very similar experience with this. First, you want to detach these little pieces right here along the side. Just kind of pull those out. They just slot in there very nicely. And then come around here. This part can be a little bit tricky to get in here if you don't have a fingernail, which you guys know I do not have a fingernail. Well, I have fingernails, they're just not very long. You got to lift this back section up and get that out of the way, and then you fold that in on itself like that. Bring these pieces up like so, rotate this around, then continue to fold that up, and then this will swivel around and in just like that. So do that on this side as well. Do that, rotate that around and in just like that. Come down here to the legs. You want to split these apart like that, then extend them down. Do that on both sides. Go ahead, take this section, and this will collapse down a little bit. Do that on the opposite side as well, or collapse up, I guess. It just depends on your orientation. So just collapse that there. Take this little middle section, spread these out, rotate this to the back, and that will actually tab along the back section here. So do that on this side as well. Clip that down into place. Take this, fold this forward, and then take the heel and fold that back. Do that on this side as well. Bring that forward and then bring the heel back like so. And there you have the legs done. And again, really very simple so far. Coming up to the top of them, go ahead and split this. Bring this out, loosen this up, and then bring this down, getting this out of the way. Like so. This can be a little bit tricky to navigate this, but the easiest way to do it is kind of push your finger in there, and you have to slide it out a little bit. It's a little bit tricky to do, but kind of just wedge your finger, and this entire assembly slides out. Then you have a fairly decent amount of clearance to hinge that down just like this. Then the whole torso section you can see is separated. You need to extend it when you're putting it back into his vehicle mode. And again, we'll show that here, but for the purpose of the robot mode, to close that up, you just take this and collapse that down a little bit. And that kind of closes the little gapping that you have here. Bring these down, rotate this out like so, fold his hands out, collapse that back down, bring that down, rotate his fist around just like so. Do that on this side as well. Bring this down, open this, collapse that back, rotate the fist towards the front. Then you come around here to the back section. This whole section here, that was the front windshield, just slides this back and then fold the head out like so. Kind of bring this all the way down, rotate the head very nicely, collapse this section back along the actual back section, straighten all this out, take these little front wheel wells, collapse those down. Do that on this side as well. And when you're done, there you have Archenemy in his very cool, very evil, but absolutely amazing looking robot mode. Oh yeah, just pure evil. I absolutely dig this. Now, I'm honestly not the biggest fan when it comes to Nemesis Prime. When I think of the opposite of Optimus, I think Megatron. I don't think you need to have an evil version of Optimus, because an evil version of Optimus, like I said, is Megatron. So it seems a little bit weird, but this guy's just wicked cool looking. One thing that I will say, I forgot to mention this in the vehicle portion, but he does have real rubber tires, which is nice, but the smell on them, I don't know. You want to smell? Here, smell. What do you smell? When I open this up out of package, and I'll be honest, I'm an older guy. I've been around the block. I know what certain drugs smell like. I've never done them, so do not do them. But I have been around, and people around me have smoked certain things. These tires just reek of that. It's really very strong, and I've had this out of the package now for close to 2 weeks, and the smell is still there. It's not as bad as it was. I just it is a little bit kind of off-putting, I'll be totally honest. It's just not a very pleasant smell, at least for me. But the look on the figure is absolutely terrific. Obviously, he does have a backpack that's very classic looking for Scourge or anything like that. Great sword. It does kind of slide on here. You got a little, I don't know if you're going to be able to actually see that. I can actually kind of see it, that it's like in a little T shape, so that when you slide this down, there's a corresponding slot here in the back of his palm that this literally just slides all the way down, and it sticks in there very well if you get it lined up in there properly, Paul. Come on, if you're going to show how to do it right. But it stays in there very, very nicely. One thing that I absolutely love is just how much this looks like Scourge. The coloring, the way that everything is kind of put together very nicely, looks like that original toy. Now, I don't have it, but I guarantee you that you guys are going to instantly recognize it. And it really does have a very good animation look, especially like here with the gray and the black. It pops and really does look like a 2D animation. You got the big giant shoulder sections here. Now, this will eventually be retooled, or well, not even really retooled all that much, but repainted to be G2 Optimus Prime. So you notice like right here, it does kind of look like the chest section here would open, except it doesn't. I mean, you got like the little pins right here, and then you got the lines and everything along that line. You can even see it kind of like underneath here. That G2 Optimus will have a opening chest section, but for Nemesis here, it's just glued in place, so you can't really open that. At least, well, you can kind of. I'm gonna wet. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. But it does kind of wedge a little bit. Oh, there it is. No, nobody. Has anybody done this? I don't know if anybody's done this. Oh my god. What are we gonna see? Oh! It popped a little bit. Does it? Oh, you can kind of see it in there. Oh, it does. Oh, I did break it. Okay, well, this whole section is glued, but this is just a sample, so, I mean, you can kind of see it. I'm going to do it, but sorry, Captured Prey, but I want to show it to the people. There it is. You can see the chest section opening up, and, you know, you can just glue that right back down because it's supposed to. But there it is. Ha ha ha. I did it. I'm evil like that. But, again, this is a test sample. You're not supposed to do that. Don't do that, guys. It is glued. You will damage yours, as you can plainly see. But that is cool that they're going to be including something like that. I'm curious to see how it's going to look with their G2 Optimus. That Laser Prime is a very popular character, and I think that a lot of people are going to like that one a lot as well. But overall, really great look. I love the paint detail. Very nice metallic, a teal kind of coming through here. You get a lot more of that color here in his robot mode. The face looks terrific. He does have just kind of black eyes. I do wish that they were red. That would have been really nice, but great look on the face. I mean, I love the detail in his mouth plate. Everything on there looks really very, very nice. As I talked about, he does have die cast, so feeling him, the thighs feel like die cast, and then, is that die cast? I'm trying to feel where the cold is, and it's a little bit tricky to kind of feel, but I definitely feel it here in his thighs, maybe somewhere in his legs. I mean, his legs are just massive bulks that just scream that he's going to stomp on you. Great painted detail on the inside here. You got the nice silver and gold, kind of looking like pistons and such. Just overall, stellar looking figure. Now, for a size comparison, as big as he was in vehicle mode, other than the shoulder pads here, he's not that much bigger than Optimus Prime. Straightening out his legs so you can get a kind of good look at him. I mean, he's a little bit taller, obviously, at the head, but the shoulders really do make him much bigger. But overall, the sheer bulk of him is still present. But the overall size, I guess, isn't as extreme as it was in its vehicle mode. So I totally do see where they have the masterpiece scale for the guy. First articulation, the head does rotate on a very stiff joint here. It does hinge up and down as well. He does rotate on, that moves. You do have to be, like I said, make sure that these are fully extended, because when you're rotating the arms around, you got these little window sections, you can't even see it, these little mirror sections here that kind of get in the way. So make sure that these are pulled all the way out so that when you rotate it, it has enough clearance to kind of actually rotate past that. He also does obviously have a hinge right at a lower section right there. It also does hinge here at this piece, so you do get a decent range of motion when you incorporate all of it, and then you got a lower joint right here that brings the arm up to about there. He does rotate at the upper part of the elbow. He does have a nice joint here at the elbow to allow it to move forward and back. He does rotate at the wrist. The fingers here are separately attached. The middle finger, ring finger, and pinky are all molded together, but the index finger here is a separate piece, and it's got two different joints so that you can move it at the base knuckle and then the secondary knuckle right there. Come down here to the waist. He does rotate very nicely, very stiff, and I'm going to have to glue that back down just to keep that into place. And then he does also have a bit of a ab crunch, which is nice. You can hear very heavy duty ratchet joints moving forward and back right here at the actual thigh, and yeah, that's popping out. It's probably going to fall off at some point in time. it does rotate at the upper part of the thigh, bends here, and actually 2 joints for the knee. You get a nice range of motion there. And then the ankles do move forward and back a little, and they have a very heavy-duty ankle tilt. I guess you can also see that the feet can also pivot as well, just as part of the transformation for the most part. But overall, gorgeous. A lot of articulation, a lot of personality in the figure. I am really very, very impressed with him. And one last thing in regard to his actual weapon, the sword here has a little peg that you can fold out. It's tricky to get to. Just wedge it out just like so. You got a little peg right here. And then both of the shoulder pieces here, you can see you got these little square sections. You can actually push these around, and it's tricky to do, but you just wedge that around, and now you have a whole section right there. So if you wanted to have a storage option for his sword in robot mode, you can peg it in there. I think it looks a little bit silly, to be totally honest. I wish you could have actually have pegged it somewhere else. I guess, well, maybe you can, no, you can't really fit it in there very well because these little pieces there. So really the best storage options are right here. I just don't like the way that those look. And I did glue this back down, so that's permanently attached again. Now to go back to his vehicle mode, we're going to slide these little sections forward. Do that on both sides, just like so. Give that a nice little push. There we go. And make sure that that's nice and done. Then rotate his head. You don't have to rotate it, but when you're putting it back like so, you have to really force this back section back to get the ears to move. Now the ear sections here do rotate, but it's a little bit easier to actually just rotate the head all the way around. The little crest section here doesn't really get in the way, so you can put that back just like so. Then make sure you get that kind of just sitting right down there. Come around here to the hands. You want to rotate them. You had them like so. Rotate them where the palms are facing up, and then rotate them into the actual wrist section itself, and then collapse that back down, or not the wrist, the forearm section. So again, rotate the palms so that they're facing up, rotate that around, give that a nice little lock just like so. You want to actually extend the torso here. So if you had it collapsed, extend it up. You're going to have that little gap right here, and then of course right there, but that'll actually make things line up a lot easier. Hinge these pieces up, and to get this out of the way, you can angle that around, bring this up and across the top section, and then from the outside here, it's a little bit easier to push that all the way in. You want to bring that in as much as you can to be able to actually tab this whole thing nice and together. So bring that up as well. Bring this up. Now let's see, get that around there. Let's see, did I actually have that? Maybe not, I didn't. There we go. Get that up. There we go. And then again, push the little piece right here, push that in, and that'll, like I said, collapse this whole assembly so that you can bring these together a little bit easier and tab them together just like so. Go ahead and leave these like that. We'll put them down here. They'll probably get detached here in a minute, but make sure that this is all lined up very nice. Come around here to this section. Oh no, just pull that out like that. Pull that out like that, and I have them bent, so just hinge them back like so, and then you're going to rotate these pieces down, kind of leave that out like that, bring that down just like that, and then for these, just fold that down, take these little sections, rotate those to the inside like so, and then you got little tabs right on the inside here. Don't try cramming them together. There's actually a little release on the inside of the leg. You can kind of see that little button right there. They stick out when you have the legs extended, so push that in, and then they collapse up very, very easily. If you don't push that in, it's not going to extend up, and then as you can see, when it's collapsed up, that button actually then stays in. So again, push that little button in, slide this up like so, bring the two halves together like so, kind of straighten everything out here. Go ahead and then take this, rotate. You got a little tab here that slots on the inside. Well, bring the section down, do that on both sides with the tire well here, or whatever those are actually called. And then you can fiddle with this, tab that into place right there along the side. Do that on this side as well. Push that into place. It's a little bit hard to see, to be honest, because it's on the inside. So bring that in, collapse that down, and then these pieces here, you got little slots on the inside kind of right there that you bring these in and line that up, give that a nice little push, and that will lock that in just like so. And when you're done, there you have Archenemy back in his vehicle mode. Now, in terms of Scourge, I never watched Robots in Disguise, so I don't have much of an attachment to it. And Nemesis Prime, depending on the incarnation of him, I don't care too much for him. When I think of the opposite of Optimus Prime, I think of Megatron. But Nemesis Prime, as he was depicted in Transformers Prime, was actually really cool. If you remember, he was an evil clone, basically. And that's a version that I can get behind. So in that aspect, I really do like this. And I think that a lot of fans of the character are going to like this a lot as well. Vehicle mode wise here, as you can see, I think looks really very nice. The detail, the paint applications, everything is really very, very well done. The transformation, while very simple, still is actually fairly satisfying to do. And it's nice having a large figure like this that transforms easily. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. And I think that's one thing that Fans Hobbies has really nailed. You got the size of a masterpiece figure, but fairly simple transformation. But that robot mode is what I think looks the best. It just has a sheer presence to it, which is very, very cool. So whether you're a fan of Nemesis Prime or Scourge, I think that Archenemy here will be a great addition to your collection. So if this is a figure that you'd like to add to your shelf, he will be hitting various online retailers such as Capture Prey fairly soon. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go there where you can check out availability on this guy as well as the rest of their wide range of third-party and official figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, be sure to click on that little bell right below this video, and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, be excellent to each other.